Columbia, South Carolina, the home of the #1 team in the SEC, the #1 team in the country, and the arena with the #1 attendance in the nation as Vanderbilt visits Colonial Life Arena to try to give South Carolina their first loss in conference play. As we look at the standings, South Carolina firmly in the driver's seat, 2 games clear in the loss column after Kentucky beat Mississippi State yesterday, and Vandy trying to climb out of the bottom 4 of the league standings with a tough schedule ahead. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Alongside Christy Thomascotti, I'm Brenda Van Lingen. So, South Carolina in the driver's seat in the conference race, #1 in the nation. What makes them a national title contender once again this year?
Well, I'm going to quote the great Pat Summitt. She said, offense sells tickets, defense wins games, but rebounding wins championships. And the key areas of improvement for the Gamecocks have been their defense and rebounding. They are disruptive, averaging 9 steals a game, lead the country in blocks. They're long, they have great speed. They just make life wreak havoc on opponents' offenses. But then the rebounding is where they have really excelled. Brenda, they're averaging 17 offensive rebounds a game, grabbing 44% of their misses, which is remarkable. They expect a miss even though they are shooting so well. They keep pressure on you because it's not about the first shot, it is about the second or third. But to win, you have to have the intangibles, and that's what Ty Harris brings to the Gamecocks. The senior point guard can score, averaging 6 assists in SEC play, but it is the dynamics. It is her dynamic skill set with her leadership ability that makes the Gamecocks go.
And if Vanderbilt wants to pull off the upset, they'll do it without the services of their leading scorer, Coy Love, a 1-game suspension for violation of team rules. So she is here in the building, but will not play tonight as South Carolina gets the first possession to start things off, and the miss by Herbert-Harrigan. This is the second matchup between these two. South Carolina winning handily in Nashville earlier this year. And that ball tapped out of bounds by Boston, 17 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, Brenda, this is a big loss for Vanderbilt today, not to have their main playmaker. Coy Love has led them in scoring in SEC play, so the key for Vandy today is can they generate offense without Coy Love on the floor?
Newby ripping down the rebound. Cambridge slicing through. Boy, it's dangerous to try to go in the paint against this South Carolina defense.
Well, it's like you get by the front line, you feel pretty good, and then the back line's there to protect, but they can score in the half court, they can score in transition. This is how prolific this offense has been for South Carolina this season.
Zia Cook with the 3-pointer. They've been known for their points in the paint, but they've been on fire from beyond the arc lately. They start off that Auburn game with 5 straight 3-pointers made, so Zia Cook with a great start again for the Gamecocks. Chelsea Hall picks up her dribble, goes over top to Newby, to the other side of the rim for the first basket for the Commodores.
And that's a great sign for Vanderbilt. Newby was held scoreless in their loss at A&M. No more for her rebounding and defense. They need her point production.
The double team on Boston. She gets a rebound. That's what she is so good at, and scores.
Well, this is the issue with South Carolina's offense. They can beat you off the bounce, and so teams are scrambling, which allows players to get to the rim for offensive rebounds.
Lele Carter, the senior, inserted into the starting lineup in place of Coy Love, who out with the 1-game suspension. Chelsea Hall with a miss. Ty Harris, their regular starting 5, the 2 seniors and 3 freshmen that have been so good and on an 18-game winning streak. They've won 14 straight here at home at Colonial Life Arena. Their last loss to Mississippi State in the last regular season game last year. And another offensive rebound and put back by Boston. 4 rebounds already for the freshman.
And this is the piece for Vanderbilt. They have to be so locked in defensively that when a shot goes up, defense does not end because of how good South Carolina is on the glass.
Out to the races is Harris after the backdoor pass went awry, and Steph White calls a timeout for Vanderbilt.
Well, we knew that South Carolina had been on a tear, and they have not lost a step. Aliyah Boston, offensive rebound, and powers it back up for the 2. And then Ty Harris has the miss. But who's there? Yet again, Aliyah Boston. South Carolina up early, 9-2.
SEC Network Basketball is presented by Regions Bank, proud to be the official bank of the SEC. Well, the Gamecocks went on a 6-0 run in the last minute to take the 9-2 lead here in the first quarter. And they had a terrific first quarter a week ago when they dominated UConn in a victory right here in Colonial Life Arena.
One sight remains unseen. A win over UConn. Boston is working hard inside. They'll take it herself and lay it in. They're tough. They're competitive. And they come in understanding culture. Been a long time coming. They want to enjoy the party tonight. Harris on the out-of-bounds play. They are up 20 on the Huskies. Crystal Dangerfield, the senior, after 8 tries and 8 denies, have finally beaten UConn 70-52 the final.
So the big win for Don Staley and this program, 9-1 against top 25 teams this year.
And I feel like they played their best ball the better the competition is, as we saw against UConn. We saw against Mississippi State. 10 ranked teams that they've faced. They've only got the 1 loss.
And the 1 loss they have is the 1 game that Aliyah Boston fouled out in. That was to Indiana down in the Virgin Islands back in November. But they have been terrific. Overall, they've been terrific in the first quarter, so focused. And when we talked to Don Staley about that, she said it's because of Ty Harris.
Brenda, the way I'd like to describe the first quarters for the Gamecocks has been, they've got the swagger of Muhammad Ali, but they're looking to knock you out like Mike Tyson in the first quarter.
Good way to describe it. Jordan Cambridge with the floater after the Vandy timeout. Boy, into traffic. Boston in between 2 Vanderbilt defenders. 6 points for Boston.
And so patient. Double team is there. She doesn't move her feet. She gets her bounce and takes it up to score. But credit Vanderbilt right now. Since the timeout by Steph White, they've gone 2 for 2. They've settled in offensively.
Yeah, Lele Carter hit that one in transition. That's where they want to try to score. And a traveling violation called on Aliyah Boston. We've talked about how dominant South Carolina has been early. Look at the numbers.
Well, they can beat you in a variety of ways. They can go inside, as we've seen with Boston already tonight. Kiki Herbert-Harrigan can beat you on the offensive glass, has the 3-point, and then the perimeter players as a whole can beat you off the bounce, can knock it down from deep.
Knocked out of bounds. It will stay Vanderbilt basketball, much to the chagrin of the crowd on hand here. And Stephanie White calling out the play. They have won 3 games in SEC play, more than last year. Steady improvement, but it's a long hill to climb as Fasula scores inside. So 3 possessions out of the timeout, 3 baskets for Vanderbilt.
And that's what I look at. You know, again, Vanderbilt doesn't have as many wins as Steph White and her staff would like, but they are battling. They have a brutal stretch of games right now, but they have to do the little things like box out if they're going to try to get a W here tonight.
Bree Beal with the offensive rebound and put back, and then Chelsea Hall answers. Vanderbilt's made their last 4 shots in a row.
Well, and for those who have not followed Vanderbilt this year, this is a much improved team. They are running more of a system that Steph White wants to run now, both offensively and defensively, but the injuries have really hurt them. They just lack that depth, and that's hurt her throughout the season.
Jordan Cambridge picks up her first foul. She is number 1 in the SEC in steals per game, and Steph likes the way that she plays with a lot of energy and heart. But Ty Harris at the free throw line, the leader for South Carolina. She's shooting 90% from the free throw line and doing so many other things as well.
It's hard just to call her the leader because it doesn't seem like we're doing her justice because of what she does. The respect of all her teammates. As she goes, they go. And the freshmen have said they want Ty to be aggressive.
First miss, but then Autumn Newby gets the rebound. It's blocked away. First miss in that string since the timeout, I should say. And then Cook gets inside the defense and draws the foul. Lele Carter picks up her first.
And so with the suspension of Love, with the injuries, Vanderbilt has a very short bench. So fouls are something to keep up with, especially 2 consecutive trips of fouls now.
Zia Cook, a 73% free throw shooter, averaging just under 13 points a game, but actually leading South Carolina in scoring in SEC play as she makes both free throws.
I asked Don Staley today, because I said, hey, Don, you're beating teams inside, you're beating them outside, you're beating them in transition, you're beating them on the glass. Like, what's the common denominator? She said, this team is competitive. It doesn't matter what we're doing. It's a one-on-one battle, and they are ready to compete. And she says, that's the intangible of why this team has been so successful.
Bree Beal picked up the foul, her first. South Carolina up 17-10 here in the first quarter. Steph White already had to burn a timeout, but it was a good one as Vanderbilt responded with 4 straight baskets after they were down 9-2. Carter floats, no, and Boston cleans it up. Already 5 rebounds for the freshman.
Well, look how quickly players who don't get the rebound or the outlet are getting down and getting into the offensive paint, pulling defenders, and that's making it hard to stop ball and why they're getting high percentage looks at the basket right now.
Herbert-Harrigan with the soft touch over the defense inside. And a travel for Vandy. And let's look at that last basket because all players for South Carolina that have played so far have scored.
Well, there's the playmaker, Ty Harris, just patient, waits to get the straight line rule to Herbert-Harrigan, and Herbert-Harrigan just has the nice soft turnaround jumper.
Cook pulls up and she drags a pivot foot.
So, Brendan, now's where you just kind of start seeing what I call the boxing. South Carolina starts with little jabs to the body, and then you bring in Lele Grissett and Destiny Henderson, who just are so dynamic, offensively and defensively, play with a whole nother skill set and so much more speed.
And Destiny Henderson is over there face guarding Chelsea Hall right now in the corner, as she was early in the possession. Boston with another rebound. Every starter for Vandy has scored as well, so everybody getting into the scoring column for each of the starters for both teams in the early going.
I just feel like for Vanderbilt tonight to have a chance, Fasula has to put some points on the board, and if not match what Boston's done to this point, at least stay somewhat close.
Boston 4 for 4 from the field so far. Just closing in on a double-double in the first quarter.
The thing I love about Boston's game is she doesn't force the action. She waits, she's patient, and she can definitely beat you with second chance points.
Herbert-Harrigan said, I'm not even going to care about that little shot fake you tried to do, Autumn Newby. I'm going to knock this to the 5th row.
Well, a lot of times people think of the 5 player as the best shot blocker on the team, but Herbert-Harrigan sends that one out with authority.
Preseason All-SEC team, second teamer. Fasula travels as she tries to go against Boston as the shot clock winds down.
And Brendan, we're seeing Vanderbilt go to the 2-3 matchup now. And Steph White told us that. You can't try to upset a team as good as South Carolina by just playing man all game. So they were going to try to mix it up some and try to slow down this potent offense.
Grissett with the drive on the left side against that zone. 10-0 run for the Gamecocks. Newby looking for someone. Washington short. And there's Harris out ahead to Grissett. She loses the handle. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay South Carolina basketball. 26 on the shot clock.
And that's the pressure South Carolina puts on you to get the ball out of the net or off the miss so quickly. No one was in between Ty Harris and the basket, and that's a no-no because she sees the floor so well and sets her teammates up.
Harris. Boston there for the rebound. 7 rebounds for Boston here in the first quarter. 8 points. 1 on the shot clock. Boston gets it up in time, catches the rim. Chelsea Hall pushes ahead to Carter.
And so this is the part where Vanderbilt has to be able to execute. After they don't score in transition or early offense, can they execute to get high percentage looks?
Yeah, they haven't scored in the last 4 minutes. Blocked inside. Carter denied by Grissett. 3 block shots already. They lead the nation in block shots. And a foul called on the floor before the shot against Herbert-Harrigan on Autumn Newby. Her first foul. Checking in Victoria Saxton for South Carolina. And Kiera Pearl, as Aliyah Boston gets a round of applause for nearing a double-double here in the first quarter. And it stays here. Herbert-Harrigan caused just enough problems that time that Vandy knocked it out of bounds.
Just enough? I just think Herbert-Harrigan's always going to be a problem on the offensive glass because she's so quick off the glass, understands angles, and just pursues so relentlessly.
Good ball reversal and another 3. South Carolina with the 3-point barrage lately. They're averaging 7 3-pointers made per game in the last 5 games.
Well, that time, that was a miscommunication between Pearl and Washington, and that was a definite no-no to leave Ty Harris wide open at the 3.
1 minute to go in the first quarter. South Carolina dominating the first quarter like they have all season. The nice pass to set up Grissett once again.
And that's the court vision of Ty Harris, the selflessness of Ty Harris, the leadership of Ty Harris. She could have taken that shot easily, but rewards her post player for running the floor.
The all-time career leader in assists in South Carolina history. And look at that unselfish play. Doesn't float out of bounds with it, but instead tips ahead to Henderson, and Henderson scores. Four seconds, Hall kicks out to Pearl, and a foul going to be called, but a foul to give for South Carolina. Pretty smart foul, actually, as Vandy will inbound it. Grissett picks up the foul. Here's the last South Carolina basket.
Well, we talked about why South Carolina is good, but when their defense leads to early offense, it is almost impossible to stop them. Starts with Ty Harris, Destiny Henderson with the finish.
And that's the way the first quarter will end. The Gamecocks with a 20-point lead after 1 quarter.
We've talked a lot about senior Ty Harris, but it's been the freshmen who have gotten it going. Zia Cook with the 3, and then Aliyah Boston showing off the range. South Carolina up 30-10.
South Carolina went on a 17-0 run to finish up the first quarter. And as you would expect, one of the best rebounding teams in the country, all over the offensive boards, outscoring Vandy 9-0 on second chance points.
And in Nashville early in January, they only had 11 second chance points. So they have been relentless on the glass. Started with Aliyah Boston, grabbing the offensive rebounding, muscling it up. Then she's not done. She stays on the glass for 3 first quarter offensive rebounds. And then Bree Bill gets in on the action, kissing it off the glass.
And South Carolina's defense held Vandy scoreless the last 5:48. After Vandy had called the timeout and they closed within 3, it was 13-10, and then South Carolina goes on that 17-0 run.
Was really impressed how Vanderbilt responded after the timeout called by Steph White. However, then the wheels fell off, and that's what I was afraid of without Coy Love on the floor today. Who can create? Can they score in their latter part of the shot clock once the South Carolina defense is set and solid?
Kaylin Smith, number 50, onto the court for Vanderbilt. Pearl, little happy feet, gets called for the travel, a 6th turnover for Vandy. Turnovers a problem early for Vanderbilt.
When they really have been all year for Vanderbilt. Came into tonight averaging 19 turnovers a game. But the bigger part, or the bigger issue with that, is their opponents have been scoring at least 15 points a game off of those.
Grissett already with 6 points for the Gamecocks. On the top of the key, long for Kaylin Smith. Henderson turns on the Jets, no. And finally, Vanderbilt comes away with a defensive rebound. Washington, boy, that was deflected by Grissett, and Felicia Grinter, the out official, noticing it. She is one of our officials tonight, along with Angelica Suffren and Brian Hall. And Chelsea Newby Autumn Newby and Chelsea Halls checking back in for the Commodores. And a foul inside by Aliyah Boston against Fasula. That's the first foul for Boston.
Boston doesn't show much inexperience at times, so that foul's one of those youthful fouls that obviously Dawn Staley would prefer that her starting center not have.
That's what I mentioned earlier. The only South Carolina loss this year was when Aliyah Boston fouled out as Fasula goes over, and that was down in the Virgin Islands. Indiana just was driving at South Carolina inside, and Boston picked up a couple of fouls early and ended up fouling out, and that was a big part of that, their only loss of the season to Indiana.
Well, I hope people were watching that last possession. Boston gets scored on, and then she sprints by players to get down and get that position for the seal and draws the foul. Brenda, how many times do we see young players, they get beat or something doesn't go well, and it affects the next possession. Boston that is, makes something good happen on the next possession, and Cook only knows how to make things go well for this team.
She's got 8 points, and South Carolina is 3 for 4 from beyond the arc.
And the hard part when you're trying to guard Cook is she can beat you off the bounce because she's so quick and athletic, but she has been great from long distance as well this season.
The steal all the way to the basket that time is Saxton, and she is fouled. Well, this week we'll have 3 more meets highlighting Friday Night Heights. Number 8 Alabama and number 2 Florida get us started at 6 Eastern. Then it's number 20 Auburn taking on number 14 Arkansas. And we wrap up the night with 6th-ranked LSU and 18th-ranked Missouri. All 3 can be seen live on the ESPN app from anywhere.
Brenda, every time you read a gymnastics promo, I just think the SEC championship must be like a lead into the national championship, because you see every ranked team every week.
Yeah, so talented throughout the SEC. Saxton makes the second. She scored in double figures 5 times this year, the sophomore from Rome, Georgia.
And South Carolina mixing up the defense now, going to a 1-3-1 trapping half-court zone.
Cambridge gets her own rebound. Boy, every pass is made difficult by the South Carolina defense. 8 rebounds for Boston. The nice pass ahead to Saxton. And Stephanie White from Vanderbilt calls the timeout.
Well, Brenda, South Carolina is relentless on the glass, on defense, but their posts are running the floor for easy scoring opportunities. South Carolina up 38-12.
Last year's #1 recruiting class in the country has so lived up to its billing. The freshmen have been fantastic this year.
What's that inside-outside punch? Zia Cook leading the Gamecocks with 3s attempted and made per game at 39%. Aliyah Boston, just a beast on the glass, averaging 9 rebounds a game. 4 of those offensive, already has 3 here this evening.
Zia Cook has been the team's top scorer in SEC play 7 times this year. She's leading the team in scoring in SEC play. And Boston filling in and doing everything else.
Well, then you have Beal, who's just that great defender. And now we're about to see another freshman on the court as Amir checks in.
This team so incredibly deep. Dawn Staley has so many options. When you look at the talent inside and out, and then what she can go to on the bench, you can see why they're the #1 team in the country because of all that they bring to the court.
Well, there's a lot of teams that have depth and talent. However, this is the culture piece. This is the leadership of Ty Harris and Kiki Herbert-Harrigan, that this team is about winning. Dawn Staley has said, I just get to show up and talk about X's and O's. This team is competitive. They want to win, and they don't care who gets the credit.
That's so important. Cambridge goes to the floor, gets back up, keeping her dribble, shoots the ball over the top to Newby. Newby can't get her own rebound, and South Carolina is off. Henderson for 3. 4 3-pointers made in the first half for South Carolina.
Great job of Henderson of spotting up. They credit the post player for running the lane, sucking in the defenders, which is why Henderson was wide open. And great pass by Cook.
And the score inside, Fasula now with 6. And that's a player that Vanderbilt needs to get going. You mentioned that earlier. Just her points in the paint, so important for this team to build on.
And post presence, like she's got length. She can alter some shots down low. She's got strength to muscle up with a very physical Aliyah Boston.
I'm here almost with the steal at half court. But Chelsea Hall slips along the baseline.
Great job of Vandy attacking an early offense before the South Carolina defense can truly get 5 players back in set.
Cook to the baseline, double clutches, and she is fouled. Let's see who they're going to give that to, Newby or Cambridge. They're going to give it to Cambridge. See Fasula's numbers as she's improved in her career.
Well, and she started off the season really well. Had a lot of double-figure scoring games. Has slowed down here in the last month, and I think that's also a byproduct. One is the SEC. It's the wear and tear, and teams are focused on her. But the byproduct is also, as a whole, Vanderbilt has struggled. They need that senior leadership. They need her to step up right now.
That was the second foul on Jordan Cambridge. So she goes to the bench. Fasula, that time disrupted by Amir. And well off the mark on that 3-point attempt. Vanderbilt has had to battle injuries. Steph White, it's so difficult as you're building that culture. And then to have your leading scorer, Brene Alexander, out for the season after 7 games, that hurt, along with a lot of other injuries they've dealt with.
I think roles changed since those injuries as well. And again, it's tough when you're just trying for consistency. And it's difficult to win when you don't have consistency. And then again, tonight, without Coy Love on the floor, there's another variable that throws a wrinkle in that ability to just get your team comfortable. And if you're not comfortable, it's very difficult to be confident as young ball players.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, Coy Love, not out with an injury. She has a 1-game suspension for violation of team rules, is on the bench, but not playing tonight for Vanderbilt. Herbert-Harrigan has that one stripped. Hall gets the screen from Newby. South Carolina up the court just like that. They're too long for Bree Beal. A couple of 3-pointers well off the mark the last couple of possessions.
Well, and who's not on the floor for South Carolina right now? Because that's the person who normally makes sure that people are taking the right shots in the right time in the right position. Ty Harris not on the floor. They're missing that little senior leadership at the moment.
And a tied ball, possession arrow, South Carolina. Coming up, we've got another full day of college hoops highlighted by this men's doubleheader right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Anthony Edwards and Georgia take on Vandy at 6 Eastern. Then we'll take you to the Pavilion at Ole Miss for the Rebels hosting the Tide.
Brandon, did you see the end of that LSU-Alabama game where the young man for Alabama, basically his whole left hand is wrapped up and they fouled him, and he's left-handed, and he shot 2 free throws, knocked them down, both of them down with the right hand.
Just some incredible things going on in basketball this time of year, right?
What's the will to win? I mean, it's amazing when you are dialed in and focused, and we see this from South Carolina every night. They're willing to do whatever it takes. They're dialed in, doing the little things. They run their lanes to perfection in transition, which leads to easy scoring opportunities.
Herbert-Harrigan with the finish there, and you see her numbers over the last 3 games. As such a leader along with Ty Harris for this program. Fast break points, such a big part of their game. They can execute well in the half court, but they are so deadly in the full court.
Well, heads are up. They are looking for one another. They don't waste a lot of time dribbling. They are concise. They are efficient. They came in tonight averaging 18 points in terms of fast break points, already at 16, with still well over 23 minutes to play.
Vandy to inbound it. Fasula broke open but couldn't corral the basketball. Possession arrow this time stays, so Vandy will have it with 13 on the shot clock. Vanderbilt 3-8 in conference play. They beat Ole Miss at home last weekend, but lost 74-53 to Texas A&M on Thursday night.
Well, Brenda, one thing I'm seeing from Fasula right now, she's trying to seal a lot with her arms versus getting her body really in there, so when she catches it, she's not prepared. That's one thing. She's just got to get low and use the body more.
Five on the shot clock. Fasula trying to go to work, kicks out, an extra pass. Hall gets it up quickly. And not a good possession for Vanderbilt. Beal in traffic, goes to her left, gets her own rebound. Me here with the score.
Brenda, I always said when I was coaching that my ideal game is a game where I never had to make a play call because my team was running in transition, going through early offense, and for the most part, that's what we're seeing out of South Carolina here this evening.
Now they've already got 10 offensive rebounds, and Vanderbilt's only rebounded 6 of the South Carolina misses. So 10 offensive rebounds early for South Carolina.
Beal switches hands in transition, goes up with her left, can't get the finish, can't get the offensive rebound to go, but Ami here is there to finish it up.
11 second chance points for the Gamecocks. Here, that time it goes in. She had an air ball last time and hits it true that time. Biggest lead for South Carolina.
I mean, this is what's scary. She's been coming back off the knee injury of a year ago, missed a couple of games to be with the Canadian national team to qualify for Tokyo, and just now starting to get back into the flow as Dawn Staley calls timeout.
Cambridge banks in the shot. And Dawn Staley with the timeout.
You know, and some fans might be like, why is she calling timeout up 30 points? It's still teaching time. This is February. Every coach is not worried about now. I mean, they want to win, don't get me wrong, but it is about building towards March. And obviously, if you're a Gamecock fan, you got to respect that Dawn Staley is building towards April.
We talked to her at shoot-around today about this is the time of the season when young players, freshmen, are like, wow, is the season still going on? Because we're used to the season being over at this time. And she said they've had a little bit of that in practice. As we look at the bracketology from Charlie Cream, of course, South Carolina #1 seed, but the SEC well represented.
Well, and this is the gauntlet. This is where, like, Vanderbilt right now has such a tough upcoming schedule because 3 of their 4 next games are on the road and against ranked opponents. And that's why you see so many teams that the SEC right now should get into the NCAA tournament.
Henderson from the corner, tipped around, and then a foul called on Beal. Her second. South Carolina shooting 54% from the field, holding Vanderbilt to just 29%. South Carolina dominating the boards, 28-11 advantage. And the steal, yes, the turnover for Vanderbilt. You talked about the defense being so strong for South Carolina. It's not just the block shots. It's not just the steals. It's the deflections and the pressure that they can put on you.
It's the disruption. That's the term I like to use, because if you think you're just going to be able to go A to B to C to D and run through your set offense, that's not going to happen against this Gamecock ball club.
Fasula tries to go up under the arms, gets her own rebound and put back. She's got 8. And it's been tough for Vanderbilt to score here in the first half. Don Staley calls a timeout just for a substitution to get Zia Cook back in, but both teams are going to go to their respective benches. On Wednesday, February 26th, we've got another men's basketball doubleheader right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Anthony Edwards and Georgia take on South Carolina in Columbia right here at 6:30 Eastern. Then we'll take you to Fayetteville, where Arkansas hosts Tennessee.
Well, I'm hoping Ty Harris is okay, because I feel like that substitution was to get Ty out of the game, and she's walking back into the tunnel right now. So we're hoping it's just something slight, and Ty Harris will return in the second half. And Brent, it's not like they drop off much when Destiny Henderson moves over to the point guard position as she turned the corner on that on-ball screen and got to the rim to score.
Yeah, she takes a lot of pride in being the leader of the second squad as she comes in now off the bench. She's got 7 points tonight. Leads South Carolina in scoring from the bench. All being hounded by Cook. We got a great feature on Zia Cook coming up at halftime. You're going to want to stick around to see, get a chance to learn more about her. And Ty Harris was just taken to the locker room moments ago. We'll see if we can get some information there. As Don Staley is demonstrating to Angelica Suffren what she thought happened. Fasula is fouled on the shot. Crowd wanted to travel. Herbert-Harrigan picked up her first foul.
You have to love the passion of these South Carolina fans. This is what Don Staley has built. Colonial Life Arena is the house that Don Staley has built. These fans are in it to win it, and they support their ladies game in and game out.
What a great atmosphere. Over 10,000 fans every game. Last time they didn't have 10,000 fans here was 2014. It's just an electric atmosphere. And then a reach-in foul. Still less than 5 fouls in the quarter, so.
And that was a smart foul because they had one to burn, and that was just to make sure that South Carolina couldn't get that shot off.
Lele Carter picked up the foul. Henderson will flip it up and is off the mark. So South Carolina will take a 52-21 lead to the locker room here at Colonial Life Arena at the half. And Christy, we talked about before the game that this is a national championship contending team because of their defense, because of their rebounding, because of their senior leadership. We saw it all in the first half.
And it just kept coming. It was relentless. The defense, 5 block shots, held Vanderbilt to just 30% shooting in terms of the defense. The rebounding, though, they have 7 offensive rebounds, leading to 9 second chance points. The freshmen have been good. They've knocked it down from deep. They've scored an early offense, but they have been relentless in any and all phases of the game, and it's because of the seniors, Kiki Herbert-Harrigan, but obviously Ty Harris, senior point guard.
As we take a look at the game summary, the offensive rebound, such a big part of it for South Carolina. You see the 11-2 advantage in second chance points.
I mean, I really don't know what Don Staley has to talk about right now because this team came out, as what I said earlier, it's a boxing match and they are looking to knock you out early.
So we'll take a break for halftime here in Columbia, South Carolina. The Gamecocks, the #1 team in the country, flexing their muscles in the first half with a big lead over Vanderbilt. For South Carolina, and Ty Harris back on the court. We saw her being taken to the locker room just minutes before the second quarter ended, and it looks like she has an additional wrap on her left quad right now. As South Carolina has the first possession, and it's knocked out of bounds by Vanderbilt.
So I'm going to go back to that football package on Zia Cook. That right there just looked like an in-out route where she just left her cornerback in the dust. Unfortunately, couldn't finish at the rim.
And a foul away from the ball as Zia Cook, continuing on with the analogy, got pancaked there.
We're just going to keep rolling with the football.
Right.
I'm good.
He just got rolled. Fasula committed the foul, her second. And she just pops back up. I love that her jersey has been retired because of what an impact she had on the Pee Wee football program when she was in 5th and 6th grade. That's fantastic. And the bucket by Herbert-Harrigan as she'll have an and-one opportunity.
Just patient. As good as they've been offensively, they haven't tried to force the action. Herbert-Harrigan backs down the defender, turns around, draws the contract, and knocks it down.
Lele Carter picked up her 3rd foul, and she will have to check out as Demi Washington comes to the floor. Herbert-Harrigan in the first half with 6 points and 4 rebounds. This is her first trip to the free throw line tonight, and she converts the 3-point play. Blocked, but fouled by Bree Beal. It will send Demi Washington to the free throw line.
Well, in that first half, we saw Kiera Perola, we saw Demi Washington, we saw Kaylin Smith, all freshmen for Vanderbilt. Talk about a hostile environment to come in as a freshman and play, but those young ladies have battled here this evening. The future is bright for Vanderbilt.
Excuse me, the foul was on Zia Cook on the shot. And Steph White and her staff look on.
So that would be a pass interference by Zia Cook on that last one?
I think we could go with that.
I'm just trying to hang with you, Brenda.
Or illegal hands, something.
Vanderbilt tries to extend their defense. Again, just trying to get South Carolina out of this rhythm that they have offensively.
Here's Cook running the baseline like you showed on the telestrator at halftime. Harris takes it all by herself.
Well, it's almost like it's, again, what you're going to say, misdirection. Everyone goes to one side of the floor, and Ty Harris just smartly takes to the left side and knocks it down.
Cambridge picked up those 2 fouls early for Vandy. That was affected by Aliyah Boston. Harris with a smile on her face as she goes down the court. And Herbert-Harrigan messes up the assist.
So I'm just looking at Chelsea Hall. Zia Cook's on her the entire way up the floor. So much she's exerting just to get the ball up cleanly. Then she has to pause and get her team in an offense. This is what I mean by the pressure that is relentless by South Carolina.
Fasula led all scorers for Vanderbilt in the first half. She had 9. She scoops around, just in and out though. Can't get that one to fall. Big step by Zia Cook.
Transition bucket, one dribble. It puts so much pressure on a defense because you need to get back and get solid. You cannot run even with South Carolina. They are too good. You've got to get ahead of them. And so far here tonight, Vanderbilt has not been able to.
Cook leading the way for South Carolina with 10 points. Every player has scored for the Gamecocks. Hall tries to lean into Cook and scores in the paint.
Well, I like the fact that Hall basically cut Cook off with that lean to make sure she couldn't get around and contest that shot.
6 points now for Chelsea Hall. She had her season high 21 against Ole Miss last Sunday. Boston with 2 feet in the paint when she caught it, and Fasula commits the foul. Her 3rd.
So this is my scouting report on Aliyah Boston. If you're a post defender and you allow her to get 2 feet in, it's too late. You have got to keep her out of the paint. Her footwork, her hands, and the way she uses her body to seal, it's remarkable for a freshman. And so to everyone out there who's going to face this young lady, you got to do your work ahead of time, or Aliyah Boston's going to win that one-on-one battle.
So how would you suggest that a post defender make sure she stays out of the paint?
Tell Aliyah Boston to go to a different arena. No, I don't mean to be sarcastic. She's just that good. I think some of it is how will an official call a game. You know, again, she's not the first dominant low post player, but this is where you've got to maintain that contact with her, not allow her to move you down. You've got to move her out. That's the only time I've seen post defenders be successful against the young freshman.
Ty Harris scored the basket. She was fouled by Kiera Pearl. And she completes a 3-point play. Harris now with 12 points.
Every time I watch a Ty Harris game, it's just like a couple points here, a couple points there, and then I look at the box score after a game and she's at 18, 20 points. She's just a silent assassin, goes about her business and takes what the defense gives her.
Hall short. Here comes Ty Harris. A little drop pass to Herbert-Harrigan. That looked like 2 players that have played well with each other for a number of years.
Well, as Ty Harris is pushing tempo there, I'm watching. Nobody in a black jersey gets between her and the basket, and that's when Ty Harris is at her best because she can just pick you apart when she can see the rim and see her teammates. Vanderbilt has to get up and stop her, stop that ball sooner, and try to slow her down.
Demi Washington fouled. Now Ty Harris is going back to the locker room once again, but seems to be smiling and waving.
It's always nice when there's a smile on the face.
Herbert-Harrigan makes a second free throw. Kiki has 9 points now for the Gamecocks. Bree Beal, such a strong defender. She is all over Washington.
Sometimes when we talk about the freshmen of South Carolina, it's so much Boston. Great take by Chelsea Hall to kiss it off the glass. But as I was saying, there's so much talk about Boston and Cook that Beal gets overlooked. And I just feel like that her role as a defensive stopper, you cannot give enough credit to. Beal usually takes the best offensive player and just makes life long and hard for about 2 hours.
Foul on Zia Cook, her second.
Well, Steph White said from Chelsea Hall and from Jordan Cambridge, she just needs them to continue to make good decisions on the floor. We saw that there by Chelsea Hall turning the corner and scoring with a very aggressive move to the rim.
Well, Fasula has gone to the bench for Vanderbilt. She had 9 points in the first half, but hasn't been effective here in the second. Beal with a block, another block by Boston on Washington. Cook loses a handle. But Beal there muscles it up and draws the foul.
So good when their defense leads to offense. Their block shots might as well be a turnover because they get it out so quick. And then Bree Beal, as we were talking about, does so many little things there. Gets that loose ball and takes it up through the contact to finish.
Chelsea Hall committed the foul. Beal tries to follow her own miss. Almost got a handle on it with extra effort, but it's Vanderbilt basketball. 7 block shots already for South Carolina, the leading team in the country in block shots per game. That last replay with Boston and Beal, it looked like both of them blocked those both shots.
Possible. We see Dawn Staley. I mean, sometimes I wonder, like, what is she thinking right now? Like, her team is well command, and they're doing what she wants. They're playing at a high level. And that's one thing she said. This team she just loves their competitiveness. The way they come out and they're willing to do whatever it takes to win a game and play it the right way.
Cook with the miss. Newbie splits the defenders, a little double clutch, and gets past the shot blockers. Herbert-Harrigan. Boston gets an offensive rebound and putback. And just on cue, the fans behind us said Boston needs to get another basket, so she gets a double-double, and she goes and gets a rebound and scores.
Well, we said this is a dialed-in fan base, very educated fan base.
It's her 11th double-double of the year. That's a freshman record at South Carolina.
And whose record did she just beat? Former All-SEC freshman Alaina Coates.
Herbert-Harrigan almost with the offensive rebound, but it's tied up. It'll be possession Vandy when we come back.
Ty Harris doing what she does best, getting the Gamecocks out in transition. Bounce pass to Zaya Cook, who kisses it off the glass by taking it to the other side for the easy 2. Back everyone to Colonial Life Arena, and it has been a year of freshmen, not just here in South Carolina. If you haven't watched Lavender Briggs play, you're missing out because this freshman's making waves down in Florida. One of the most dynamic freshmen, though, Rakia Jackson, has just picked off and has been on a tear. Coy Love has been missing everything for Vanderbilt to this point in the season. And then, in case you haven't been paying attention tonight, Aliyah Boston and Zaya Cook have been mainstays here at South Carolina since they stepped onto campus this season.
Cook and Boston impacting this game. Boston already with the double-double, her 11th of the season. Cook so dynamic in transition, but it's really too bad the fans aren't getting a chance to see Coy Love, one of the top freshmen in the conference, who is suspended for this game.
She can score, she defends, a competitor. That's what she is for Vanderbilt. And so with her suspension, I knew the offense would struggle for Vanderbilt tonight. And this is one of those things. I mean, every young player needs to understand you are responsible to do things the right way, to be a good teammate. And you just hope Coy Love learns from this lesson and is back on the court and even better for it.
Letitia Ami here with the foul on the double team of the ball handler. But what a day in the SEC yesterday. as South Carolina remains in the driver's seat ahead of Mississippi State. But Kentucky, what a game for them. Georgia pulls out an overtime win against Alabama. Just a lot on the line in these games as we close out SEC.
Well, LSU goes on the road to Auburn and loses after 2 wins over ranked opponents in Texas A&M and in Tennessee. And then Texas A&M. Kennedy Carter's show on Rocky Top yesterday to lead Texas A&M to the road victory.
Fasula short on that one. Yeah, Kennedy Carter now in her second game back.
Came off the bench in her debut against Vanderbilt last Thursday. Still led the team in scoring.
Boston loves the contact. She was pinballing around in there, players grabbing her arm, and she still comes away with it and scores.
Relentless in her pursuit to the ball, relentless in her ability to get the ball in the hole.
12 points, 14 rebounds for Aliyah Boston. A timeout for Vanderbilt as there was some confusion on the court. And we'll go to break with South Carolina leading big here in the third quarter. A big lead for the #1 team in the country, and they've gotten big performances from so many, but Aliyah Boston has been fun to watch.
She has anchored the low post for South Carolina here this evening. Watch her effort. Goes up, gets the offensive rebound. Ball comes loose. She doesn't care. She stays with it, turns around, soft touch to put it in. And she's done a little bit of everything. 12 points this evening, and she's been efficient. 6 of 7, 14 rebounds, 5 of those offensive rebounds. And oh yeah, has been a rim protector with her 2 blocks. And Brenda, I think she's affected a number of other shots because of her presence down low.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 11th double-double of the season. She was tied with Alaina Coates for the freshman record for double-doubles, has that all by herself. Already has earned Freshman of the Week 5 times this year. She's number 10 in the NCAA in field goal percentage as a freshman, shooting 62%. And on a lot of the watch list as the only freshman represented on the Wooden Award late season top 20.
All right, I'm going to ask you a couple of trivia things now, Brenda. Who are the 2 post players to win SEC Freshman of the Year under Dawn Staley's tutelage?
Well, I believe Asia Wilson would be one.
Way to go out on a limb on that one, but yes, that's one.
You're going to have to help me out here.
Alaina Coates is the second.
Of course, and we just talked about her 10 double-doubles in her freshman season.
And you want to know something? Right now, Aliyah Boston's numbers are better than both of those 2 young ladies when they won SEC Freshman of the Year. So it's not me going out on much of a limb with my projection of who the SEC Freshman of the Year should be or could be.
There you go. Foul called on the floor.
And you're seeing Vanderbilt just trying to get to their spots on any offensive execution, and so they're not setting screens, which is making it more difficult for them to get open.
High-low, beautiful look to set up Saxton.
And Brenda, I love Victoria Saxton. I think she is so good, so quick off the floor, which helps her be a great offensive rebounder, but she can also finish down low.
Henderson changes direction in midair, absorbs the contact, and scores.
There's not much else to say because you described it so well. What I am going to say, and I'm going to quote their head coach, a competitor. She's looking to get to the rim and finish.
Destiny Henderson, the 5'7" sophomore out of Fort Myers, Florida, top scorer off the bench. She takes such pride in being the leader of the second squad. SEC all-freshman team last year, and completes the three-point play.
And that just goes back to that culture piece for this program. This young lady started almost all of last season, was a main scoring contributor, but has accepted that role. And so winning is not an accident. It takes selfless individuals competing for a common goal, and that's what I'm so impressed about with this South Carolina ball club.
Fasula muscled up that shot, and now she's in double figures, the only player in double figures for Vanderbilt tonight. Cambridge out front, and a nice shot for Kaylin Smith. Her first basket of the game.
Great hands, great vision to pull that pass in, and even better body control to finish.
Well, that's tough, catching it over your shoulder like that in traffic. Henderson with the fadeaway. She's got 12 now. Fasula almost has it stripped away, and then she travels. A tough night for Fasula inside. Henderson takes it with 15 left in the quarter. Over the top to Washington. What a pass, what a catch for the score. And that'll close out the third quarter as South Carolina rolling here in Columbia tonight. SEC Network Basketball is presented by Regions Bank, proud to be the official bank of the SEC. As South Carolina shooting 56% from the field to go up big as we start fourth quarter play. And South Carolina, along with Baylor and Oregon, considered the front runners for the national title this year. Maryland, another one seed, comparing their numbers.
Well, South Carolina has played 12 games against the RPI Top 50. They've won 11 of those. They've also won 4 of the 5 against the RPI Top 25. And I did a deep dive into these 4, Brenda, to see, especially with Oregon in the Pac-12 with so many ranked opponents, could Oregon potentially surpass South Carolina in those ranked wins? And they can't. So, and that, again, that does not include conference tournament time for any of these teams. So in my opinion, South Carolina continues to do what they're doing. They should get that #1 overall seed.
And it would be really interesting if those seeds hold to see, especially Oregon, South Carolina, Baylor. South Carolina and Baylor already played last November, but Baylor was without Lauren Cox at the time. Thompson misses that three-point attempt. Vanderbilt trying to tip it. Henderson comes away with it. But what do South Carolina, Baylor, and Oregon all have in common? They all have victories over UConn this year. Baylor and Oregon both went to Connecticut and beat them on their home court. South Carolina, of course, here with a great crowd, 18,000 last Monday to beat UConn here. And gained Dawn Staley her first victory over UConn.
Well, Colonial Life was rocking last Monday. I mean, you could hear it through the TV screen, and it's tremendous for women's basketball as a whole. But I know there's a lot of naysayers out there on UConn right now, but here's the thing. First of all, credit UConn for scheduling those games. Now they go back to the American. They've got some time to regroup and improve, and you just assume that they will continue to get better, learn from those lessons. So I'm not one of those people that's counting them out yet, but those other top 4 teams right now are rolling and playing so well, and it will be difficult to beat.
Yeah, Maryland had a couple of stumbles in Big Ten play. They lost at Northwestern and at Iowa, but those are 2 teams that are up near the top of the Big Ten. But since then, Maryland has been on a roll.
in some ways you got to wonder, is because of the Pac-12 and their strength top to bottom, is Oregon somewhat gelling better because they're being challenged more effectively game in and game out? A lot of people looked at last Friday night's game against UCLA thinking, could that be the one? And if you don't have solid post play, it's difficult to beat a team like Oregon.
Yeah, they've got it from all over for sure. I mean, and that's, as you compared Baylor, South Carolina, and Oregon, the depth and the scoring from so many different positions. We showed their points per game, and all three of those teams can score a lot of points.
Well, and the other thing I'll say, they all have great point guards. They all have a balance inside and out. They have depth. Well, I shouldn't say. That's the one key with Oregon. You wonder if there were an injury or foul trouble, how would that bench perform under pressure?
A lot of effort still, even though they are up big.
Well, and that's what their coach demands. Every possession, you don't take anything off. And Victoria Saxton will not. She's relentless.
And that's how you develop depth in games like this, when everybody is playing and contributing. They're getting ready for postseason play.
Well, when you look at practices, think about a practice for South Carolina. When you have Saxton going up against Boston, when you have Lele Grissett and Kiki Herbert-Harrigan going at it, I mean, they only get better day in and day out.
What a block for Lele Grissett. 10 blocks for South Carolina tonight.
And she wasn't even in the screen when when Smith started that move. And it was remarkable, the ground she covered and how quickly to get that block.
There's Smith. Knocked away. Smith stays with it, but a foul on the floor on South Carolina. Alyssa Wesolek into the game, picks up her first foul. Saxton knocks it off the back of the backboard.
And again, credit Smith. She is staying with it. She works. She's trying to do anything and everything to help this Vanderbilt squad right now.
Chelsea Hall off the screen. And again, Saxton with the rebound. And too high for Olivia Thompson. Just 8 turnovers, though, for the Gamecocks. One of the most prolific three-point shooters in South Carolina high school history, Olivia Thompson. And Saxton knocks it away all the way to the rim and draws the foul from Cambridge.
And Brennan, that is the 5 player. That is the post player for South Carolina there, who shot the gap, got that deflection, pushed it out, ran the floor, took it herself, and drew the foul. So Brenda, speaking of post players, I was corrected. There was a 3rd post player named SEC Freshman of the Year by the name of Kelsey Bone. Sorry, Kelsey, forgot about that one.
Well, when you asked that before, I was a little confused. I thought you were asking Player of the Year, so I thought of
if
Kelsey
I said that,
Bone.
I apologize. I meant SEC
Yes.
Player of the Year.
Yeah, so we're back on script now. We got it. Kelsey Bone, along with Alaina Coates and Asia Wilson, all Freshman of the Year honors under Don Staley.
And that's just good recruiting. Usually the 2 hardest positions for players to transition into college, point guard and your center. And for the fact that, and again, I'm not awarding it now, but I'm saying there's a really good chance Boston's going to get it this year, that Dawn Staley and her staff will have 4. That's truly remarkable.
Autumn Newby able to score in the paint. She's got 6 now for Vandy. Washington picked up the foul. South Carolina, their offense has been extremely efficient tonight, shooting 53%. You know, and in their notes, they talk about the fact that, well, Wesselek with the three-pointer, and she gets a big round of applause, just her fourth three-pointer of the year. Hall too strong, Newby there, blocked by Saxton, and then Newby picks up the foul. But I was mentioning that South Carolina's efficiency offensively this year, well documented. They've shot over 45% or better 17 times this year. They're way above that tonight, shooting 54%. 50 of their points in the paint, so they're shooting high percentage shots. And that time, Thompson off, and Saxton causing trouble inside again.
She's so quick off the floor, and she pursues so relentlessly.
When you look at last year's numbers versus this year's for South Carolina, what jumps out to you?
The defense and the rebounding. I mean, offensively, it's better, but not remarkable. But what I see is you're seeing them jump in offensive rebounds, and usually those will lead to higher percentage putback opportunities. You're seeing the defensive improvement by this team. And what did I say in the beginning? Pat Summitt. Offense sells tickets. Defense wins games. Rebounding wins championships.
And 17 offensive rebounds for Dawn Staley's squad. And their offense not too bad either. They're averaging 12 more points per game than last year in SEC play. Tough move to the rim. Her first basket of the game for Chambers.
Oh, they missed Autumn Newby down low. She had the mismatch, but South Carolina quickly switched back.
Yabrion Chambers with her second basket in as many possessions.
So if you're Vanderbilt now, 5 minutes to go with a really daunting upcoming schedule, you're just looking for improvement. You want to just take this one possession at a time, try to get a stop, and then put together a score. Develop a little positive momentum in the last 5 minutes of this ball game.
Grissett makes it 5 players in double figures for the Gamecocks. Chambers long on that. Newby misses on the second attempt.
Well, and I got to believe that's some of the shot blocking ability of South Carolina. Newby just rushed that putback.
Thompson. Saxton draws the foul. And Victoria Saxton will be at the free throw line when we come back from break. Well, Kentucky men sit atop the SEC standings at 10-2, but LSU and Auburn right behind, so a big game between LSU and Kentucky. LSU won the last meeting in Lexington last year, and they're in Baton Rouge this weekend. But let's take a look at the headlines. We talked about it earlier. Sunday, a lot of big games and some surprising results.
Sunday fun day. That's what yesterday was. Canyon Carter back off the ankle injury, puts up 37 points to take Texas A&M on the road and lead them to victory over Tennessee. But then this is the one I was really surprised about when I saw the score. Yeah. LSU had been playing so well. Wins over Texas, sweep over Texas A&M, beat Missouri, and then went on then protected home court against Tennessee, and then go to Auburn. But credit Unique Thompson. It looks like Auburn's starting to figure some things out. That defense has been even better the last couple of games.
And that Kentucky win over Mississippi State, Vic Schaefer just had some glowing things to say about the effort of Kentucky. He just said they played so well in that game. They played the way that I want my team to play, and Kentucky with just a convincing win knocking off Mississippi State yesterday.
Well, how different does Kentucky look with Ryan Howard back on the floor? I mean, the young lady pretty much has a club on her left hand off of that fractured pinky finger, but does a little bit of everything for the Wildcats.
Saxton getting a nice round of applause as she goes to the bench. The fans here just appreciating her effort. She plays so hard all the time.
And Vanderbilt definitely undersized right now, so going back to that 2-3 matchup in the half court. Great job by Chambers to have active hands, gets that deflection, what leads to the turnover.
Carter finds Newby going to work inside, and Wesolek picks up the foul, her second. As we take a look, it's a grind moving forward for Steph White's team.
Well, they have Missouri obviously up next at home, but then the next two at Tennessee, at LSU, and then it doesn't get easier as you end the season because you have Kentucky coming to town. Again, 3 of those 4 ranked opponents.
Well, Newby makes the free throw. The crowd yelling loudly because if she would have missed both free throws, everybody would have gotten some chicken. on the scoreboard ahead, everybody was told to make some noise. So there was some motivation behind that.
That's one of my favorite promos in all the SEC. And I should say 2 of the next 4 for Vanderbilt are ranked opponents.
It does not get any easier. And a foul on Yabrion Chambers as it will send Ami here to the line. We talked about this a little bit before, but Ami here had a terrific game against Ole Miss, and then she went to Canada and missed 3 games in a row against Tennessee, Arkansas, and UConn. As we look at the remaining schedule for South Carolina. But Ami here trying to help the Canadian national team qualify for the Tokyo Olympics. Of course, Don Staley, the USA head coach for the Olympics this summer in Tokyo. Looking forward to that. And right now, the USA basketball team in the capable hands of Cheryl Reeves and Dan Hughes as Don Staley keeps in touch with them. Beautiful shot, absorbing the contact, Lele Grissett.
Well, Lele Grissett has moved from the 4 position to more of a guard position, and here she's showing off some of the skills. Gets out in transition, 1 dribble, and lays it in off the glass.
Beautiful pass from Destiny Henderson. 5 assists for her now. Grissett completes the 3-point play. Cambridge with the floater. So Vanderbilt continuing to play hard, even though it's been a rough night on that end of the court, on both ends for that matter.
Jordan Cambridge is just a competitor. You know, I said it earlier, but she took a hard elbow to right underneath that eye in the game on Thursday. Had to leave the floor and get stitches, and I got a chance to look at that gash today, and it's a big one, but this kid is tough. She's out here with her team battling the best she can.
Another assist for Henderson, that time setting up Wesolek. Here's Cambridge that you talked about. She's got the Band-Aid under her eye. A lot of players with stitches and wounds this time of year. Gabby Connolly had the stitches in her face after the Mississippi State game. Thompson off the mark there. Jordan Lewis had stitches in her hand after an accident in the kitchen, the star for Alabama, but her stitches are out.
Ryan Howard
with the big club on her hand, as you mentioned. 50-point lead for the number 1 team in the country. South Carolina taking care of business. No letdowns tonight. Everybody contributing. Another block by Ami here. Pearl off the mark.
Well, you gotta love that Vanderbilt's still trying to attack. They're still fighting. There are 4 freshmen on the floor and 1 senior for Vanderbilt right now.
And Grissett going to go to the line, and when freshmen go through something like this, it motivates them in the off season. And you know that if you're going to compete night in and night out, you all have to get better.
Well, it's one thing to, when these freshmen were seniors a year ago at home watching South Carolina and some of the best teams on TV. It's far different when you're actually in it and experiencing the pace of play. And you're seeing that a little bit tonight with some of these young Vanderbilt freshmen, that the pace that South Carolina plays at, they weren't quite ready for.
Grissett now has 14 points. 1 minute remaining. Washington off the mark. Vanderbilt will slide to 3-9 in conference play. Thompson, she's the only player that hasn't scored so far for South Carolina. And she still hasn't scored. Everybody in the crowd wants her to score. And it'll be Vanderbilt basketball.
But look at the hustle of Grissett. They're up 95-44, and she's getting on the floor trying to extend the possession.
Grissett being congratulated by Olivia Thompson, trying to get her an extra possession so she could score, but Thompson just 0 for 6 from the floor. So South Carolina with the win extends its winning streak to 19 in a row. They remain undefeated in SEC play, 12-0 on the year, and their overall record at 25-1.
If you thought there might be some kind of letdown, they knocked that out of the park. They were sharp to begin with. They executed. It was defense, it was offense, and it was rebounding. They were prolific in every area tonight.
Don Staley's team brought the lunch buckets and took care of business today. Stick around. We'll have a chance to talk to Aliyah Boston after the break. South Carolina wins 95-44 here in Columbia. Fans in Colonial Life Arena celebrating yet another victory for the number 1 team in the country. They move to 13-0 in conference play, 12-0, excuse me, as they get the victory over Vanderbilt. Now we're joined by Aliyah Boston with another double-double, the freshman record now for double-doubles. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So another milestone tonight, 13 block shots. That's the team high in SEC play. 6 different players got block shots tonight. Talk about the mentality and how is it and why is it that this team comes together with such fierce defense inside?
I think defense is something that we focus on, especially in practice. We really work on being able to know what we have to do, and so I think that's just how we approach everything. And so then the block shots just come with us knowing exactly what we have to do.
So talk us through some of these here as we go through the block shots.
I mean, she came at Bree and I, and we both kind of just stand there with our hands up and kind of just play into our hands. This one was good. That was good help defense from Lele. She came over right when she was about to shoot it, so that was really good.
Well, I have to call you out on this. You sat down and we were going through your stat line. 6 of 7. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
Points,
pretty good.
14. I'm sorry, rebounds, 14. Points, 12. But then you pointed to something.
Yeah, my turnover.
Why? One turnover, ladies and gentlemen. One turnover. Why?
Because I just didn't. Well, one, I didn't remember that I did that, so I kind of thought that I was at 0. So,
well, to me, that just
But-
talks about that pursuit of excellence. that you and your team are on. And it's been a while since I've seen a freshman step in, especially the SEC play, and dominate all phases the way you have. Can you talk about just your preparation coming into South Carolina and what has made you so game ready from the start of the season?
I mean, coming in, I just wanted to make an impact. I would say, and I'm just doing what Coach Staley asked of me and what my teammates ask of me or expect from me. So I'm just trying to do everything that they need me to.
So in the broadcast tonight, I gave the analogy that this team, because we're talking about your first quarter prowess as a team, this team's a lot like a Muhammad Ali swagger, but a Mike Tyson, I'm ready to knock you out in the first quarter.
Ready.
What is the mentality? What do you guys talk about? Because you have come out and you've set a tempo, you've set a standard in the first quarter every game.
I mean, we just really want to just push it at you. Like I don't want to say we don't want to really make it a close game, but we really just want to execute, and we have a game plan. We know what we want to do, and that's really just what we try to do every time. So it really worked out for us tonight.
Can you describe what an impact Ty Harris has on all of the young players on this team?
She's a great impact. She's a great leader. She helps us out. She won her assists. She does a great job of that and passing the ball and just being able to execute everything that we need her to do.
Can I put you on the spot then? If you're Ty Harris's campaign manager for Player of the Year, what are you saying to America right now?
I mean, have you seen all her games? I'm just saying, she does everything you need her to do. If she doesn't have, like, let's say 15 points, Ty has 6 steals, 11 assists, all that. Like, that is what you need from a point guard. I think she's the best point guard out here, and she should be Player of the Year. So that's just all I'm saying.
Mic drop.
There you go. Well, let's look ahead at your upcoming schedule as you prepare to move forward in SEC. You turn your attention to LSU next.
Yes. We have them on Thursday. We just got to be ready because they are a very good team and they play for 40 minutes. So we just got to come in and be ready to execute what we have to do.
I know we're not supposed to look ahead, but as Greenville approaches for the SEC tournament, what's the mindset of this team moving forward?
I mean, mindset is really just to take it one game at a time. So we just one game at a time, and then when we get to Greenville, we got to talk about Greenville.
I have one more question for you. I happened to see the game that you lost. I was in St. Thomas for that tournament, and you fouled out in that game.
Yes.
But it was an emotional game for you, being around all of your hometown family and friends. What did you learn from that game that has helped you be so dominant throughout the year and stay out of foul trouble?
I think it just helps me to become I think it helped me to become a smarter player. Like, I really shouldn't be fouling out of a game no matter how it's being called. So I think it just helped me to realize, like, if the refs are calling a little tap, then I have to play off, or I just got to be mindful because I just didn't do my team any justice by fouling out of that game.
Well, it's been fun to watch you throughout the
Thank
season
you.
as you've grown from that, and congratulations tonight. Dominating
Thank you so
performance.
much.
You bet.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at the game summary. As just a dominating performance by the #1 team in the country.
From the get-go, but from the tip on, they were locked in, dialed in, they executed the game plan. They never let off the gas. They disrupted on defense. They attacked the offensive and defensive glass, and they created easy scoring opportunities, which led to the 95 points on the scoreboard.
And so as we take a look at the standings now, South Carolina 2 games ahead of Mississippi State. And you see the battle behind Arkansas, A&M, Kentucky, and LSU. It will be a battle over the upcoming weeks as we have 4 games remaining in SEC play. Looking forward to it.
Can't wait. A lot of good basketball still to come throughout the rest of February.
So South Carolina, every player but one scoring today. A dominating performance on the offense and defensive ends. Great rebounding. The final score, 95-44 over Vandy. Coming up next here on the SEC Network is SEC Inside Florida Basketball. On behalf of Christy Thomascutti, I'm Brenda Van Lingen. So long from Columbia, South Carolina.